And welcome back to another Reality Skewed Gamer stream. I'm Ranger J, 1999, your host and dungeon master for Ebon Chronicles, our 5th edition D&D campaign in the Forgotten Realms of Twirl. Welcome to the stream. If you're new, there's a whole bunch of other things you'll have to catch up on, but we'll get to it here soon enough. But welcome. It's Sunday. It's 5 p.m. It's time for us to do our D&D campaign. Glad to have everybody here. Real quick reminder, we are dual streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to see us on either one, you can. Make sure you follow us on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. We do a lot of different streams, cover a lot of different games. So there's a lot of content out there for you to enjoy. Also give us a thumbs up on the videos and hearts and all that other good stuff. And if you haven't checked out our Patreon, do. If you'd like to support all the stuff that we're putting out for you guys, then by all means, why don't you go ahead and do that. That being said, let's introduce the cast of characters. Some are not here yet. They will be here soon. Last minute stuff that they had to take care of. So we've got some of the cast of characters here. Below me on my face, you can see all the characters with their descriptions, some of their stats, quotes, skills, things of that nature to kind of get you an idea of what's going on. That being said, let's let the players introduce their characters, and then I'll give a recap of what happened previous, and then we'll get into the game. All right, starting with Finn. Finn, introduce your character.
I play Organ, who is a gnome bard. That's also a little bit sorcerer.
And a whole lot of rock and roll. Below that, we've got Teals. Teals, who are you playing with today? Or playing as?
Giggity. I'm playing as Celestra, Wood Elf Druid of the land.
All right. And then below him, we've got Johnny Mo playing who?
I'm playing as Rogaris, the Dwarven Fighter.
All right, very nice. Also, there's some NPCs that I control. That's McCarvin, the monk, the male drow monk. And also, can you guys hear me? I think we're coming back on.
Yep.
All right.
Good old Comcast.
Same damn time as last week this crap happened.
Well, you're back now, so hooray!
Yay! All right. Someday, Finn, for the money I pay, I would like for internet service to work like it's supposed to. I don't think I'm asking for much. Just when I...
Yeah, that would be nice.
I expect to get my money's worth. I pay a lot. Maybe they just don't care. I don't know. But it's getting old. All right, we should be back. I apologize, guys. You're at the mercy of stupid-ass Comcast. So I can't rant anymore at Comcast. I can't do anything about it. There's nothing much out. I'm just hoping Google gets their ass out here faster than I can blink so we can do this. So glad to see everybody in chat and YouTube. Welcome everybody in Twitch. Let's recap where we're at. Where the other characters we're missing right now is Yusef, played by Andrew, their dwarven cleric. Valron, chosen of Mistra, their half elf, half genasi, air genasi, wizard, and I think who else are we missing? Grim, who plays Morgrim, the rogue monk fighter. Who is a student of McCarvin. So, Ebon Shade. Well, let's recap where we were last week. So, when we were left last week, the group had recovered after the Battle of Tilverton. They realized that they had to do something about the portal that was left behind, that the acolytes had left behind. They figured out that through investigation of the site and of the people they left behind, the gnolls and some of the cultists there, that they were followers of Lady Ebb and of the Gnoll demon god. And so they decided that they had to do something about it. They sent Celestia back, who gathered the Father Denton, and of course Yusef being a cleric of Lyra. He grabbed the highest order of clerics from Helm, Ilmater, Tyr, I can't speak all of a sudden. He grabbed a bunch of clerics and brought them back, and they performed a ritual. They were able to sanctify, close the portal, clear out the land, and so they made Tiverton safe once again. had been a really blot on the land for a long time. They had originally gone there because they had been sent through the magistrate to investigate a group that had been sent out a party to investigate if Tilverton could be reclaimed for the crown. The area was once a vibrant trading town, but after the Shade Wars, they had been basically obliterated off the face of the map. There was any party or group that had gone there to check it out had disappeared. Same thing happened with this one. So that's why our adventurers of the Ebon Shade were sent out there to investigate. They had a battle, they cleared it, then they sanctified the land, and then they came back. During that time, Oregon, trying to investigate, tried to do a speak with the dead spell, and ended up meeting none other than Ebb, which had a profound effect on him, almost killed him through what he doesn't really understand how he was able to talk to her. So he just met up with her through some kind of vision, dream, his soul meeting with hers, and left him in a certain state. They went back to their keep where they were recovered. Amaroon showed up, and they had a meeting about everything. It was discussed that they wanted to find out why they were sent there, who came up with the mission, what the hell's going on. And so Amaroon was busy trying to figure out what was the connection with Ebb, so that was her part of it. Because once Oregon mentioned that name, it immediately got her going, like, why would she be attached to some kind of demon lord? And why was this, hers is why this event happened, in the sense of why is there a connection between all these things in the background of the demon lord and Ebb and all this other stuff. So that's her project. So she's on that mission. Ebon Shade is going back to Suzel in the land of Cormier because they want to find out all the other information. Who came up with this ridiculous plan? Who sent this party of expeditions and archaeologists to look at Tilverton? And they don't have any answers. So they do have connections with two of the noble houses of Cormier, and that's the Del Castles, because in the Traylons. So they decide to go see the Traylons because really Lady Del Castle, who they've met, is more of a landowner, powerful, but they have much more ties and connections with the Traylons than they do the Del Castles, even though they're very close with her son, who is Amaroon's partner, lover, cohort. He is a chosen of Mistra. Arclath is a close friend of theirs, but doesn't really get along with his family too well, even though he sold them the land. So they decided to go to Suzel, get with House Traylon, who is always welcoming to them for saving their lives and doing what they did for them back in the day, and maybe get some answers from Lord Traylon. And maybe Micah's. Micah's got a lot of connections as well. So that was where the party left. They had just arrived on the outskirts through a teleportation through trees spell, and had just gone outside Zuzel. It is... I can't remember what time you guys left. You guys left the next day? Early morning, right?
Yeah, I believe that was the plan.
Okay, good. All right, so you were just outside the west northeast entrance. Ebon Shade, what do you want to do?
Head to the Traylon Manor.
All right. Simple enough. Anybody else want to do something on the way, or you guys are going to go straight to House Traylon?
I got nothing to do messing around. Just head there.
Okay. So you guys immediately get right down to business. Can't touch this. That sounds like completely unreasonable expectations, Rangers. What is he talking about? Let's Can't Touch This talk about.
Your internet connection.
Oh, well.
That was when you were saying that Comcast might be able to give you what you're paying for.
Damn right, can't touch this. Fist bump. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. All right, so you guys go immediately to House Traylon, and it's early morning. It's mid morning when you guys go there. Let's say it's summer now, so it's a very bright sunny day. There's a cool breeze coming off the morning from the ocean because Giselle is right on the Sea of Stars. So this nice cool breeze coming off the sea. You guys know that the Giselle estate is in the southwest part of the city. I've got the map open right now in this area over here because they are traders, and you know that you have trade with them that goes through their from them to you and you to the north and back and forth, and that because of Valron, you guys have created a trading kind of line from Giselle to Arabelle, and that's why you're making quite a lot of profit, and they're making quite a lot of profit. So you go to the manor, the guards. There's 2 guards there, and the gate is closed, and you see the 2 guards in armor with the House Trelon symbol on their chest are standing in front of the gate, and they just stand there.
Say, excuse me, I am Lord Oregon from the Del Castle Manor in Arabelle, and I wish to speak with Lord Trelon.
One guard looks at you. Aren't you kind of short? He looks at the other guy. Isn't Lord Oregon like bigger? Yeah, he's like 8 feet tall or something. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I don't believe you, buddy.
How would you like me to prove it?
Do you have any kind of documentation or proof of said that you are who you claim to be, sir?
Sure, and I think I still have one of the original letters in my inventory. Let me make sure I still have it. There's a letter I think we got from... Actually, I have something else. I'm going to take out the pendant of House Trelon that I have.
He immediately looks at that and is like, okay, good enough. Just wait here. And the other guard goes in just to let the house know what's going on. He opens the gate and he's like, I'll escort you in. He looks at another guy who goes and fills his post where he's at, and he go back in. You see it's a walkway that leads to the main manor. There's trees on both sides. Very, very lovely garden. On both sides of trees. There's a line of bushes along the road as you go up. It opens up into a big circular area because this is where carts and carriages and things will go around. There's a fountain in the middle. You guys go up to the head part. You can see the one guy is standing there, and Lady Trelon, that would be Lord Trelon's wife, Rosa, you know who she is in there waiting for you as you guys pull up. And the guard comes up and he's like, Lord Oregon del Castle from Arabelle, my lady, and he bows. And she's like, she just like waves her hand like, I know who he is. And she comes up and she's like, Lord Oregon. She holds out her hands to you to greet you.
I go and hug her.
She says, oh, well. Really, Tills? Is that what you just rolled? That's the most random thing I've ever seen.
What the hell?
I guess real life is just coming into the game. Okay. But she greets you and says, oh, and she kind of pats you like that's not the proper greeting. And she gives a nod to each of you. It's just like, my husband's in a meeting right now, but if you would like to come in for refreshments when he's done, we'll get you a meeting with him as soon as possible. I hope everything's well, Lord Oregon.
It could be better.
How come there's always trouble with you when you're around?
Well, I wish it wasn't that way. That's all I can say.
All right. So she escorts you in. There's you've been to the House Trelon. It's a huge mansion. You walk in. There's a big open area. There's the House Trelon banners and tapestries. There's some paintings on the wall of former House Trelon, matriarchs or patriarchs. And she escorts you to the right and to the big greeting hall where there is water and tea and wine ready, and some small edible, little foods that you guys can eat and stuff like that. And she escorts you to sit down and see everybody gets situated. You guys have nice, comfortable chairs. And she goes, "So, what news from the north, Lord Oregon? Give me all the latest gossip."
Well, we managed to free Tilverton of all the evil.
You see this, her face, just the blood drains away from her face. And she goes, "Why on earth did you go there?"
Now you know why we're here to see Lord Traylon.
"But I don't, why would you go there?"
It was something to do.
Just then, as you guys are starting this conversation, Micus comes in and he's like, "Well, I'll be damned. You guys are still alive." And you can see he's in his military attire. He's in armor. You know that he's one of the commanders of the training forces here in Zuzel, and a former war hero from the battle against Sembia that is still raging on in the east. And he comes up and shakes each of your hands and greets you. And he's like, "Mother, I'll keep the guest company." And she's like, "Yes, that would be nice." And she just excuses herself, curtsies, and then leaves. And then Mika sits down and he kind of grabs some food and starts eating it and unbuckles his kind of top there. You can see his ranks changed. He outranks you now by 2. You're kind of where he was before Oregon, but he outranks you by 2 now.
Okay.
And he's still a young guy. He's only in his late 20s. So he's like 29 years old. And so he's just looking at you. He's like, when she said gossip, she meant city gossip? Did that not register? No? Oregon?
Well, we've had let's just say we've had some interesting years since we last met.
It's been a long time, my friend. I can see that you guys have changed. And he smiles at all of you, and he's like, "Where's McCarvin, the filthy bastard?"
He's still in the keep.
Never mind. I'm sure he's on some damn mission for Jaraxel or something stupid like that.
That's usually the stuff he does. As long as he's not near me to hit me on the head, I'm good.
He looks at you. You know me and McCarvin used to do stuff back in the day.
But you don't hit me on the head. He does.
Well, no, he's hit me on the head once or twice.
No, but you haven't hit me on the head.
Well, I'm not going to hit you on the head. I mean,
see,
that's just
I like you.
All right, Lord Commander, take it easy, buddy. And so you guys kind of catch up, and you guys have a conversation for about 30, 40 minutes. You guys let him know all that you've done. He says, "Okay, so I couldn't help but understand and heard Tilverton. Why did you go to Tilverton?" Who told you to go to Tilverton?
You are welcome to join us, but I want to make sure I speak with your father on this.
That bad, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Crown?
Yeah.
Leave it at that. And just then a servant comes in and whispers in his ear. He's like, "Speak of the devil, my father's ready." So let's go then that way. So you guys go back in and you guys head back and you see that Lord Traylon's there. Joffrey, he is a little older now. He's still a very well put together man. He's really tall like his son. He's 6'2". Micah's like 6'2" as well. Actually, he's a little taller than his dad, probably about 6'3". And he comes and greets you. And you can see he's a little bit more wrinkles around the eyes and stuff. He's more gray in his beard, and he's getting gray on the side. It's been over 3 years since you last seen him. And he goes, "Well, thank the gods if I live and breathe." He's like, "So, good to see you guys. So please come in." And he has you guys all come down and sit. And he's like, "All right." Wait a minute. And then he pours himself some wine. Usually when you were here, it's always bad news. And he starts sipping the wine and he puts it down. He's like, All right. Let me have it. What's going on?
Well, first off, my apologies. We will try to visit more with good news as well.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The trading partnership that we've created has brought us both a great deal of money and fortune. So that's always.
Yes, but I
good.
don't always want my appearances to be associated with bad news.
Yeah, if you could try to do that, he's kind of giving you. He's giving you the hard time.
I know.
So.
Okay. So
And apparently, there's a small child that runs in the room. That's one of the new Traylons, and it's just making havoc.
I love little deals.
And just going crazy, and you see him like, no, Daddy's working. Go, and shoots him away.
Okay. At which point, then I go and check to make sure that the door is closed and locked.
He's already made sure that the servant's there. You know that this room is very much eavesdrop proof.
Okay. So we just came back from Tilverton and purifying it of evil.
This look of just stoic, proud nobility stares back at you. He's like, I'm sorry. Did you just say you went to Tilverton?
That is correct.
He just looks at Mika's, and Mika's just putting his hands up like, don't look at me, man. I just work here. He's like, I heard the part where you cleared it of evil. Congratulations, but why did you go there? Were you... I mean, I know Ebon Shade is your venturing party, and you've done some crazy good stuff, but... Tilverton?
Hi, Commander Jaloon.
What? Commander Jaloon? Why do I know that name? He looks at his son. High Commander Jaloon is the commander of Northern Forces missions, magistrate of Erebel. He's like, oh God, that's right. Haven't had much contact with Erebel other than with you guys. So this was a mission by the Crown. What did they want you to do? Did they send you there to defeat the evil there?
So this is what we need your help with. Before us...
Yeah, start from the beginning. What
so
preceded
before
you guys going
we were
there?
sent, there was a group sent to Tilverton for an archaeology mission, which makes no sense considering what everyone seems to know about Tilverton.
And you see, he holds up his hand. A group was sent by the Crown to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him fold his hands in front of his face. And he goes, well, that's news to me since I'm on the Sitting Council of Nobles and I didn't know there was an approved mission sent to Tilverton. Continue, please.
Well, then that's what leads to us. Because that group had not returned. And we were sent to go see what happened to this archaeology party that was sent to Tilverton. When we went there, what we saw was obviously a lot of evil, a lot of death, but also, which is, while we're still trying to identify them, we believe that the party may have been used as the sacrifices in order to summon a Valor.
You see this Lord Traylon, and you see at that Mike is actually sitting to attention, listening intently as this Lord Traylon.
And so they were these four sacrifices were killed.
Okay, so you went there, you faced evil, you did it. Sent by the Crown. This is troubling indeed. So
there's more, but we'll leave it at that. Let's start there.
I've got the gist of it. You were sent there, you won. What is the status of Tilverton now?
We went with a group of clerics, and the land has been purified of the evil and the summoning, I don't know what you want to call it, the summoning pit that the Balor came out of. Rogaris had a bunch of it on him, but we managed to clean that off of him. It took a while.
I'm glad to see, Rogaris, you're actually cleaned up pretty well.
Yeah, my yearly bath did come around, so.
You better be joking about that.
He swam in it twice.
Oh.
Right? Twice, Rogaris?
It was kind of acidic, so I mean, it just sort of scrubbed it, exfoliates.
I get the idea. He's like, okay, I've heard enough.
It's good for the beard.
So he kind of leans back in his chair. He's like, this is troubling indeed, because I am on the ruling council of nobles that works. We decide things like this. I mean, there is some autonomy with the different groups that can control things. The military is controlled through the crown specifically, but missions such as that are usually controlled and approved by us. We represent the noble families. The noble families works with the ruling family, the Obenskires, and I find this hard to believe that Queen Obenskire would have approved this message.
The original or the one for us?
Both, actually.
Well, the one that was given to us was...
Well, that one makes more sense. It came in from Jewel, so that means that there was something, but he had proved something, but then you guys were sent as a rescue party. That one makes a little bit more sense.
But were you not aware of us being sent as a rescue party either?
Nope. But that's not unheard of, because your city commander, Jewel, would have the authority to send you. It doesn't report. I'm not in the military, so it wouldn't be a noble decision. That would be a military decision. And Mike agrees. So yeah, that would be correct.
Are secret missions uncommon?
Typically in this land, yes. If this was a crown-approved mission, someone from the noble ruling council used their authority to send it in the name of Cormyr. It doesn't necessarily have to be the nobility of the ruling family. This is strange indeed. All right, well, what can I do to help you?
We were hoping you might have more contacts than we do to help us figure out who sent the initial archaeology group.
I have lots of contacts. Mikas, can you check on the military side? He's like, I will indeed, Father. And he's like, I'll get on that immediately. And then he gets up, salutes you guys, and then...
I say wait.
Wait for what?
There's one other part to this.
What's that?
This was all appears to be at the direction of Lady Ebb.
They don't know who Lady Ebb is.
They just look confused?
Yeah. Remember, they're not a part of knowing that information. I'm just throwing that out there as your DM.
Okay. Is Valron's with us?
No, because he's not
Okay.
here, and he's doing something for Mistra. As far as I know, for the last couple weeks, he's been
With Mistra. Okay.
Or elements. You don't know what he's doing. Magical crap for the weave to protect the weave from whatever's happening with you guys right now.
Okay. So Oregon tries to explain the position of Lady Ebb. So you know who Ao is, right?
Yes.
So Lady Ebb is the sister of Ao, basically the opposite of Ao.
I've never
While
heard of
Ao cares about life, she cares about death. Well, and I look at Micah. You know about the 10, right?
And it says, those I do know about. McCarvin has been busy with those fools for a long time.
So their goal seems to be to bring Lady Ebb back into this realm. And until I met her, it wasn't super clear what exactly. We had a guess, and it turns out that the guess was pretty much true. She wants to kill everyone.
For what? Never mind. Do not say that name outside of the confines of anybody that knows it, or outside of this room, or some secure location from moving forward.
Understood, but I wanted to caution you as well, because of what we encountered there, who you're talking to is always in question.
Well, we're going to have to find out more about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he ponders for a moment. You can accompany me, you three. There's a actual council meeting this afternoon. You can sit as my advisory and guest. Usually I guess go alone, but you can be my advisory and guest, Oregon. He looks at Celestia and Rogaris is like, you two can be guards. I'll give you some house trail on stuff as escorts, which is pretty standard. But you will not be part of the meeting. You'll just have to wait outside. And then I will introduce you to the ruling council, and let's see when I will bring it up and let you share your story.
How much do you want me to tell?
Everything. I want to get reactions. Except the F part. Leave that crap
Yes,
alone.
understood.
But I will introduce you. You will share your story. I'll introduce you to everybody in the chamber. And then we will see what we can ascertain from this. Fair enough?
I look at Celestra and Rogaris. That work for you guys?
That's fine.
I think it'll work.
Okay.
Okay. He's like, well, we're about to have lunch if you'd like to join us.
Sure.
All right. So you guys go and eat lunch, and he has one of the servants grab a couple of little things so you guys have house Traylon representation on you as well. If you
At
want...
lunch, I'll pull Blinky out of my backpack and set him up with a little dish.
Yeah, he was sleeping, and then you woke him up, and he's kind of just sitting there just on your lap, and you're just feeding him, and he's a little groggy at the moment.
Oh, God.
And so you're there with Joffrey, Rosa. Mike is not there. You see his daughter Janice is there. The other daughter and the other son are not there. He lets you know that they're busy at the docks. They've taken in more, since he's been on the ruling council as of late, that they've taken more control of the trading and things of that nature. So you guys have a very pleasant afternoon lunch. Right around noon. So you guys get filled up. They provide you with the attire that you will need. And then he says, all right, you guys get settled, you get your food ready, and you eat. Everything's served to you. Nice lunch, just simple bread, cheese. There's different drinks of water and tea and wine again, whatever you like. And you guys eat. And then you guys make your way to the castle. And so on your way there, Lord Traylon's telling you a little bit of the castle itself and what to expect when you're there. If you have questions about the ruling family or anything like that, he wants to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what you're going to see when you get there. He says the royal court, let me see here. He says there's a couple of areas that we're going to the main building of the palace grounds. He said to the left there's the Palace of the Purple Dragons. That's where a lot of the military is. It's where Micah goes a lot. He says it's thousands of chambers, tons of soldiers, and it's pretty much its own kind of little mini city there. And then
as he mentions this, one of the victims was a purple dragon knight.
Oh, that unheard of. I mean, there's thousands of them. So
Okay.
If I can find it, I had it here. He talks about there's the royal gardens, and the glimmering. There's a lake there called Lake Ozone. Um, he pretty much tells you that Vandergast's tower is there. He gives you a little bit of what the war wizards. You guys know who those are. They have a place in the palace as well. Um, um, he says the palace is look. It's you can see it as you're walking there. He says it's able to hold hundreds of dignitaries and guests. Most nobles that visit can stay there. There are apartments for nobles there. The main areas for the royal family, the ruling family, which has pretty much been the Obenskire since the founding of Corminth. He says it's a vast network, and you guys can see it. The one castle to the left, smaller structure, is the purple dragon towers, and you can see that the very tops are purple. You can see the flags of the purple dragons flying. You see the main castle as you guys approach. It's a three-tiered, layered palace, huge, and you can see that the flags of Cormyr fly. You see purple dragons, you see wizards, you see dignitaries, you see looks like government officials. As you guys get to the main gate, walking in and out, you can see that this is a bustling center of the city. And you can see all kinds of people going in and out of the gate. There are guards there. The walls around the palace are 100 feet tall. Each level is 100 feet. And the main palace as you guys are walking up looks like white, like ivory, that kind of goes into three different prongs. It's a little bit different that you've seen before. And he says, now, we won't see the queen or the prince there. He tells you that Prince Barovus is in the east still fighting Sembia in the wars. The crown prince, who was actually should be the king, but he abdicated his throne to the queen, who is not someone you want to mess with. He knows the queen since she was a little girl. She says her name is Riedra Obenskire. She's late 20s. She is a warrior queen. Most of the Obenskires, the nobility of the nobles of the ruling family, are warriors or high magic users. He tells a story of how when Zuzil was invaded by Sembia and during the wars, she led the soldiers for the protection of the city. She stood in the front line. She killed a wyvern that looked like a dragon with the sword from her family. So she's not someone to mess around with. But gives you a little bit of a background about who she is. She says, now the ruling families that we're going to meet are Ardebrant. You want to write this down?
I am.
It's one of Waterdeep's and Cormyr Giselle's leading shipping clans. Amcathra, or Amcathra. They are known for their horse ranches and their massively forged weapons. Castle Lantern. These is the finance, money banking, money lending. Erlendstar. They are shipbuilders and run caravans. Melshimber. This is the ruling family of sages and researchers. They are known for they are the information family, the wealth of information. And they also produce their own fine wine. They have wineries. And last but not least, the Wands. The Wands are one of the higher magical ruling families in Cormyr. And you know that Cormyr values magic. You know how some regions in Torel do not like magic. Mm-hmm. Cormyr is the opposite. You know, the war wizards are revered. They actually have their own council that works with the queen and the ruling king or queen. They give their own advice on top of the for magical problems and things of that nature. And the Wands are their representative on the ruling council, because the Wands are actually magic users, part of the war wizards, and the noble family, or the noble council. They're they are the leading magecraft house, with close ties to the Watchful Order of Magics and Protectors, and rumored to be have members that are part of the Harpers. Said the same with the Amkareth. I'm sorry, Amkathra. I said that wrong. And I'll introduce you to who's who when we get into the chamber meeting. Who represents which house?
Is Lady Edgeth one of the representatives?
She is. She is the last one, recently added.
Which house does she represent?
Egeth.
Oh, that's her own house. Okay.
Yeah, you don't know what her first name is.
I think we got it. I just don't remember.
And I never gave it to you.
You never get it? Okay. I gotta check my notes anyways. Gotta remember it offhand. But okay.
But Traylon will tell you. It says it's Lilian. It's like an Elvish thing, like Lilianian.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll just call her Lady Edgeth.
Liliana. No.
Lily Ilian.
She.
It's half elf. It's Sylvan.
No, she might become part of the problem. Just as a heads up. We've had.
I've had my eye on her for a while. Trust me, I know. But she holds huge political sway, and she's.
Oh, therein lies the problem.
Well, we'll have to figure it out, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they're not on the council, but they have huge sway here. Are the Del Castles, and of course us, the Traylons. Good enough?
It's as good as we're gonna get at this point.
Okay.
What was the name of the I guess the third family, the ones that are really the money people?
The Cassalanters. Cassalanter.
Thank you.
Good to go. All right, so you guys are automatically allowed through the gate. You're not checked because you're with Lord Traylon. When you walk in through the gates, you can see that the gates are huge. Think like Minas Tirith, Lord of the Rings, huge. There are two giant doors that are made of solid mithril with designs of people on horses and knights and things of that nature. I mean, you could probably spend an hour looking at the design work of the walls, but they're open at the moment. When you go in, there's a long walkway that goes straight up, and it goes to the second wall, and it looks like it goes over to the third wall. This is the path that goes straight in, and you head to the second gate, and along the path are giant stone statues of famous rulers of different kings and queens of Cormyr, and they're all Obenskire, and there's always a plaque, for each one. And as you walk, you can see these giant marble statues of them in different poses and different attire, with a plaque that says something on the bottom of them, when they ruled and things of that nature. You get to the second gate, you're allowed in. You go through the third gate, and again, just along this path, and Traylon says this is the path of Obenskire. They call it the path of Obenskire because since the founding of Cormyr in DR26, they have been the ruling family for that time, that entire time, for these damn near 1,500 years. And you can see, you make your way to the final one, and there's some spots left open, so you can see that there's places for more marble statues to be put up. But they leave that open for each one until it's going to be completely filled. And then as you look there's walkways past the statues that go in different places, and there's buildings everywhere. You can see Vandergast, the War Wizard side there. You can see his temple is very, very pronounced. And you can see to the left as you're walking, you can see the Purple Dragon Castle on the left, and Vandergast on the right. And so you can see that you've got the military and the magic on the right and left of the main palace. So you guys go into the main palace grounds. You can see there's a giant domed area. There's the palace straight ahead of you, a giant dome area. Then there's some other buildings to the left and right. You don't know what those buildings are. Traylon says that is mainly for staff, and there's a library, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff to the left that we don't have time to get into. He said the palace itself is where everything happens. That's where all the dignitaries, that's where the ruling family lives. Nobles visit here. This is where everything happens, and on the right is where all the government work happens. All the offices, the meeting of the ruling council. We have our own chamber, and so that's where you guys head off to the right. All right. So you go in. No one stopped you at all. Everybody knows who Lord Traylon is. He gives nods. He says hello to people, and like, hey, that kind of stuff. And he walks in down to business. He takes you to his office in there, and he has a secretary and a page that are in his office when he walks in. It's a very nice office, very luxurious, very well designed, decorated. It's got a huge desk for him with a pile of paperwork. And as soon as he comes in, the secretary is all over him, like, we got this meeting and this meeting. He's like, oh, Christ, what have I walked into? He looks at you guys and says it'll just be a few minutes. And then you guys, while you're waiting there, on the hour, at the top of the hour, you hear from the palace a big, you've heard it before, but it's so pronounced being so close to it. Boom. And then a horn blows, like billowing horn that lets you know that it is a certain time of the day. It's a symbolism of certain times of the day. And so the horn sounds, and it's kind of letting people know that it's time for lunch or a break or something like that. But it's a very pronounced horn that you guys hear. And it's loud. And so as you guys are walking through to his office, you can see he's got the door open a little. He always has the door open. You can see just people running all over the place. Think of any kind of government building with a lot of people in it. This is the heart of Cormyr. This is the main ruling government center. So there's pages running with notes, and there's people with books and documents and things of that nature. And he tells you, Rogaris, and you, Celestia, to stay here. You cannot go to the chambers. Only one person can go with the ruling person into chambers. So you guys will have to wait there. Okay? And then he looks at you, Oregon, and he says, follow me. It is time.
Okay.
He says, is there anything you need to do or anything before we go?
So we're being left alone in his office?
Mm-hmm. Technically, you are representatives of House Traylon. So you guys, this is a House Traylon office. So these members are part of House Traylon. They are wearing House Traylon, so are you guys. But you're considered guards and stuff, but you cannot go into the chambers with Oregon. You can only bring one person, so he's taking Oregon. That answer your question?
Yeah. As soon as they leave, can I start looking around to see if there's any information on Tilverton?
Okay, you start looking for information, and the secretary immediately looks at you, and she's a young girl in her early, like 21, 22. She's like, can I help you look for something?
I'm just trying to see how well the cleaning staff does. I'm just checking for dust.
Make a deception check.
20.
She goes, Because it's such a bullshit. Even though you're lying your ass off, the lie is so stupid. She looks at you and she goes, "The staff is fine." She doesn't sense that you're up to no good, but she kind of believes that maybe that's what you're looking for. So she feels a little pity for you that that's the one thing you're concerned about. She believes you. She's like, "My poor sir, they do a great job. You don't have to worry about it."
Well, I'm just honestly, I'm also looking possibly for some additional help to our keep. So I wanted to try to just inspect their work personally. That's,
All requests go through me. I give to Lord Traylon. That's his desk. You're not Lord Traylon. You can't go to his desk or anything. Now, you may sit in the comfortable chairs over there. If you'd like some water or tea or anything, we can provide it for you.
Tea would be very lovely.
All right. She goes into the page and she looks at you, Celeste. She's like, "Is there anything you would like?"
He sounds good.
All right. So, tea for both. Any snacks or anything? Never mind. Bring some snacks and some cheese and bread and some tea for the guest. And then she says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?"
Do you have any magazines or books, perhaps?
What's a magazine?
Like a pamphlet?
I also look at him puzzled.
Like a smaller book, pamphlet.
About
Anything. What interests do you have?
government.
I walk over and I try and pull his helm of intelligence out.
Do you let him?
Hell no!
Okay. You're like,
Grapple her to the floor.
all right. She goes here and gives you a book that she had behind her on government procedures and law on the rights and property values of the land of Cormyr.
It's only a matter of time before we all pin down Rogaris and try to pull that headband off.
I will immediately sit in a chair, pull Blinky out, put Blinky on my shoulder,
Blinky immediately just starts starts running around.
pull out a pair of very thin wire spectacles, that are only about half moon size, adjusted on my nose.
Blinky as soon as you let Blinky out, he starts running around the room. And she's like, "Sir, can you control your puppy?"
You don't like puppies?
"I love puppies, but not in here. There's too much paperwork and stuff." And he immediately
Blinky.
starts going to one of the chairs and starts attacking the leg of the chair.
Blinky, come here.
He's ignoring you.
Blinky pops right into my hands because I summoned him with the collar.
He's just sitting there like...
I'm holding Blinky.
He's just going like a puppy does when you hold him and they don't want to be held. He's just going
Do you want to
crazy.
pet him?
No.
I guess you don't like puppies.
I love puppies, but that puppy is not right. He does put off a strange aura.
Well, he's a magical blink out puppy.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And then he disappears out of your hands and is back to the chair.
Blinky. I summon him back.
He's in there. He just
I hand him his rope bone.
make
and I
an
start
animal.
playing with
Make
him.
a animal handling check.
10.
Blinky is back to the chair and is really tearing it up now. And she stands up, she's like, "Sir!"
I look over. I'm like, "Do you need me to take care of your dog?"
Oh, maybe you just help me a little bit with it. Do you maybe have a book on animal training?
No!
Well, I thought you said that there was like a library or something around
There
here.
is a library on the other side of the grounds.
Oh, well, could you maybe send the page over to get
No!
out there? Why not?
That's not his job.
Well, he's a page. He goes and he makes run-ins for things.
No,
Well,
that's not how this
his
works.
job.
This is not how anything works.
That's what a page does. They run for things.
No, that's not, sir.
Wow, Celeste
I
pulling
reach
out
into
the
my
big one.
backpack and I pull out a dictionary and I begin to look up the meaning of the word page.
How about this, sir? How about you just sit there quietly, enjoy your tea, read the book, control your dog. I've got work to do.
Okay. Blinky. And I give
He
Blinky
blinks
the
back in.
book.
He's like, He's so excited. He's like, new room, new stuff. I want to go eat that. I want to see this. Oh, he pops out, blinks out of your hand, and starts running around again.
I cast Dominate Beast.
Okay. He immediately just like,
It's a little extreme.
I tell him to sit,
he sits
and then I tell him to lay,
He lays down.
and then I tell him to nap.
He goes to sleep. On the carpet. Blinky's just sitting there, just passed out, not in the middle of the carpet, just peacefully sleeping.
All right, let's continue.
For your
So
just like glance.
next time it goes crazy, you can just put him away.
He can blink out of the
yeah,
back
you just see
there.
his little stomach go, because he's been running around, but he's now sleeping, so it's taken him a while for him to start slowly calming down. And then you guys have brought your tea and your, it looks like little small bland vanilla cookies or something like that. And she just looks at you with like, are you going to read the book?
I'm already a quarter of the way through it.
Make an intelligence check. You don't have your headband on, do you?
Yo, yeah, I
You do
never
have your
take that
headband
thing
on.
off.
Okay, good.
Intelligence check. Huh. That's great.
So you are getting a gist of it, but it's very boring, dry reading. It's a book that gets into property law and how property taxes are acquired, and then it gets into how lords are expected to control the land. It gets into disputes of land, what is expected rights, things of that nature. So you spend the next however long reading this book. You don't get as far as you want because it's, for some reason, you just find it hard to concentrate. I don't know what's going on. You're just kind of like, it just doesn't seem as interesting to you as you thought it would be.
Yeah, property law sucks.
Celeste, anything else you're doing besides putting Blinky to sleep?
I'm doing as I was asked to do.
All right. So Celeste is very patient, just enjoying her tea and eating her cookies. All right, Oregon. You were going with Lord Traylon. You guys go, and you know this is a domed building, so you kind of go around and down, and then these doors are opened by two guards. And in this chamber is a round table, and inside is it's further down. There's a circle with a table in the center with very ornate chairs around it, and above it is another row, another circle on the outside that's a little bit higher up that has chairs. It says, you will sit in this section right behind me. And when I address you, you stand up and speak. When you're done, you can sit back down. Good enough?
Okay.
All right. Now, he points to each chair, and you can see there's for each part of the room where there are banners for each of the houses. And he says, for House Adabrandt, their representative is Fendrel. He's very young. He just came into leadership of the house. His father recently passed away, so he's now in charge. He's 20 years old, very young, but he's an adventurer. He's been doing stuff a long time because of what their house and what they're involved with trading and stuff like that. Said he's one hell of a smuggler for his age. And you'll know him from his long, straight auburn hair. For House Amcathra, their leader is Margaret. She's not someone you meant to mess around with. She's 40 years old. She's to the point. She's a paladin of Helm. She is very tall, very well built. She has very long, curled blonde hair and gray eyes. She's extremely athletic. You'll know her when you see her. For Castellanter, their representative is William. He's 47. He's also a minister of finance and trade. Very tan skin, balding, but distinguished. He has a brown beard. He's you know him when you see him. For Ilinstar, it's Salvador. He is a mid-20s former explorer. He has cropped, wavy white hair and blue eyes. Their family is got a line of Elvish in it, so he looks very tall and thin and Elvish. Although he's a human. He doesn't have any half-elf features like that. Very tall, he's 6 feet tall. He has a very distinguished face, and he has a white goatee that he wears. And he says he has very piercing ocean blue eyes. For Melchember, their leader is Margaret. She's 50, in her 50s. She is no nonsense, no straight to business kind of person. She has a cropped, wavy white hair and blue eyes as well. Oh, that's the wrong one. She has a cropped, straight brown hair and green eyes. Very white skin. Very kind of tall. She's 5'9".
They're all tall compared to me.
Yeah. And then for the wands, he just shakes his head. That would be Gavin. Gavin Wand, 76, sharp as a sword. Very witty, long white hair. He is a high level wizard. White hair, very long. He always keeps it pulled back and to his back. His extremely piercing brown eyes, they will make you pee your pants, unless you've known him for a long time. But he's kind of a jokester, but he is extremely powerful and magical. And you'll notice him from his cane. Watch out for that cane. As a youngster, I was hit with it a couple times on the head. And then, of course, Lady Egath.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, he says, and people are starting to gather in.
And who's representing House Del Castle?
No one from House Del Castle. He told you earlier that they don't have a seat on the ruling council because they don't
They just have a lot of influence.
They have an extreme amount of influence. And he says now, the person that's in charge of it is, of course, it's always the oldest that is in charge. It's not a vote. The only way they can be voted off is like for health or whatever reason, but it's usually the oldest. So Gavin has the highest position. I have the second highest position. But we all sit equally in a circle because no one's really in charge. But just for matters at hand, that's how it works. Any questions?
No, I will sit until you tell me to speak.
All right. So, people start gathering in. You can see that people are coming first that are sitting behind. It looks like secretaries, people that are recording, things of that nature. A person that sits behind Wand. Looks like a recorder of the notes from the meeting. You start seeing people come in from different doors. You see all the people that he just mentioned. And you also see Lady Egath. She doesn't notice you at first, but she does after a brief, introduction and everything. She comes over to Traylon. Lord Traylon shakes his hand, like Noble would, and each kind of give each other a bow of the head. And then she looks at you and she smiles.
I kind of tip my cap at her.
This is Lord Oregon. Fancy meeting you here at one of these meetings.
Very nice to see you too, Lady Edka.
Indeed. And representing from House Traylon. If I'm not mistaken, weren't you representing Del Castle?
Yes. We have partnerships with both.
Interesting. Well, time for business. So you see Gavin come in, walking on his cane. Looks like he has like a bad foot or something, but he's really put together. But he looks like very long white hair and stuff. And he comes in, he takes that gavel and he hits a table. And Traylon kind of whispers to him like, you're supposed to use the gavel. He's like, no. And he hits with his stick. He's like, I call in order the House of Nobles, noble councils, and he goes through the whole spiel, and then they all take their seats. And then they start going through normal parliamentary procedure. The roll is given. Everyone says here, and then after that's done, then it says first item on business is here, and so they go through some of the normal procedures you expect. This is going on here. What about this thing here? What about this over here? We need a vote on this. So there's taking votes and stuff like that. Then the meeting goes on for about an hour. They all say different things about different projects, things that are going on, some of the things that the the ruling family wants, and things of that nature, and what are their advice and consent on that. So it's about an hour. You're just sitting there patiently. It's kind of fascinating to see them. They seem to work pretty well together, but you can start seeing there's some dynamics there. Looks, subtle looks. Actually, make a perception check.
Okay. 21.
Yeah, you see a lot of that. One thing that catches your eye is a castle intern is actually sitting next to Lady Egath, and they seem to be quite cozy together. You notice that they seem to be working.
Male, female.
What, the castle intern?
Mm-hmm.
That's William. Yeah.
Oh, you're actually. I thought you said a castle intern, not a castle.
No, castle intern.
Okay, got it.
House castle intern and House Egath.
Got it.
Sit next to each other, and they seem to be agreeing and kind of on the same page for both. Hold on, I'm watching my Rockets the last second. It's a hell of a game. Ooh, 103-100 Golden State, 4.4 seconds left. 103 Golden State, Houston 100, they got the ball. Well, I thought that was a foul. Ooh-wee. All right, so... Sorry, that's my team. I have to look up and just kind of look at it like, what's happening? I guess there was a technical foul. Someone's been ejected. Well, all right. Well, I'll figure it out later. All right, so it gets to the end of the meeting, and... what happens at that point is that Gavin calls for any new or unknown business to be detailed at time, and Lord Traylon stands. He says, "Yes, if it would please the council, I have some new information that I think is vital that we discuss here today." And with that, I would like to call upon Lord Commander Oregon of the group known as Ebon Shade from the noble city of Arabel in the north, who has some concerning information that he needs to relay. And then Gavin, everybody in the room turns to you, Oregon.
Okay.
And then Gavin stands and says, "The chair recognizes Lord Commander Oregon. Please stand, state your name for the record, and proceed."
Okay, so I stand up. I am Lord Commander Oregon of Arabel. I am here to relay information about my recent quest that was assigned to me through a note from High Commander Jaloon. It took me to Tilverton.
You hear all of a sudden, you say that name, there's some just, like that when you're in a crowd, you're, so usually you hear that, but continue on.
It led us to Tilverton, where we were sent in order to investigate and recover a group that was sent before us to Tilverton on an archaeology mission. When we went there, unfortunately, we could not find any of the archaeology group alive, but what we did find was quite disturbing. There was a group of cultists and evil that had decided to turn this area into a summoning area for a Baelor, which we dispatched of, and we have then purified the area. But we are not sure why the initial archaeology group was sent in the first place due to the history of Tilverton. And I stop.
And then Lord Traylon, who's still standing, says, "What I want to know is, this was not approved an open session of this council. And then you see not Lady Egeth, but Castle entered speak up. And says, "Of course not. We financed it ourselves through permission from the crown." And then Gavin just goes, "You idiot! Why would you send someone to Tilverton?" This was because we were seeing the prospects of seeing what could be done. It's been a long time. We've cleared out all the things around it. I financed it myself. I don't need permission to do that other than the Crown's permission to actually do the adventure, but it was paid for by us. Lydia Gath raises his hand, and I supported it. I mean, there's just stunned silence in the room. Sherlock's like, "What did you expect to get from there?" "Well, we didn't know what was there. That's why I sent a group of archaeologists, the best I could find." And Lady Aga's like, "I was interested in trade. It was once one of the richest trading areas ever. If it could be reopened, Lord Castellenter convinced me that going in on this venture was important." And then Lord Trelawn's like, "If that's the case, then who, after it disappeared, sent word to Commander Jewel?" And Lady Gas says, "Well, I don't know about that. All I know is that we did register because they were leaving from Arabelle. They have to register all, parties and things that are going out. So I'm sure he knew that we were sending a party. You'll have to talk to him. I don't know. But he would have known that they were leaving. Since we did request, an escort for them. Nothing uncouth or unwarranted from that." Gavin, and then you see Gavin just is like, "Of all the ridiculous things I've ever heard, Tiverton is a place of death." "I understand, my lord, but it's been over 100 years. Surely we could have ventured with the top people to see what was there." "Indeed. This is most troubling." And then you see Adderbrant raise his hand, and he's like, "Question? What trade did you want to get out of there?" Like, "Well, we wanted to see the prospects of seeing if it could become a viable trading post. Then we can invest capital into setting up a trade route." He's like, I may be young, but I know that I'm not supposed to ever go around that area." And then Gavin's like, "Hear, hear!" It's like, "Well spoken, young man," kind of thing. And then Wands quietly just takes a moment, and then
I'm still standing, by the way. I haven't sat down, but I
Yeah.
haven't said anything. So,
and then Gavin's like, "What did you meet with when you went to Tiverton? What was the outcome of the group?"
and he's looking at me.
"Yes."
When we went there, there was no one left alive except for the cultists at the beginning. There were 4 victims set there to be sacrificed in order to summon a Baylor.
You see immediately when you say that, Lady Amkrath stands up, and she says, "What? A
Yes, my
Balor?"
lady. Yes, my lady.
And then you see her eyes narrow, and she looks at Lady Amroon, and
Who?
she looks at Lady not Amroon, Egath and Callister, and she's like, "I find that suspicious." And she's like, "I didn't have anything to do with that." Callister's like, we didn't have anything to do with that." And Gavin starts banging on the table with his staff. "I vote for more inquiries on this matter. All those in favor?" And then someone whispers in his ear, it's like, oh, I forgot. Is there a second? House Traylon goes, it's a second. And then, very well, we shall take a vote. And so Gavin, Amkrath, and Traylon immediately vote for an inquiry into the matter. Adabrant abstains. Irlistar Edgath and Callister vote against it, and then it comes down to Melshimber votes for inquiry to be made. So 4, 3, and 1 abstain. And so an inquiry will be made into this. And Lady Ged's like, well, that's what the council says, but I think it's foolish. But anything you need, and Callister's like, I've got all the documentation you need. It was approved by the Crown itself. I will provide that documentation immediately. Very well. We will discuss this at the next meeting. Documents to be provided, and the inquiry to be done by, and we will pick and decide who. Is there any other business? Nobody stands up. And he looks at you and says, Lord Oregon, thank you for your report. You may sit.
I nod and I sit down.
All right. And then the meeting is adjourned, and then you and Traylon, as you're leaving, Lady Amkrath comes over and she's like, well, Lord Commander, I just wanted to shake your hand. Anybody that could defeat a Balor is all right in my book.
Well, thank you. And I take my hand out and I shake her hand. I say, well, thank you.
She has
but it was
got a
team
phenomenally strong grip. Like, you feel like she could pick you up with one arm.
Like a Kata type thing?
Yeah. Not as strong because you're used to Kata, but you can tell that when you get a closer look, she's not an arm or anything. Nobody is here, right? But you can tell from the way she's dressed that you can see that she is very well put together. That there's a reason why she's a paladin of Helm.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say thank you very much. It was
says,
definitely a team effort.
Well, thank you for your service. I'll have to keep Ebon Shade in mind on future missions, maybe. She kind of gives you a wink and then walks off and kind of punches Traylon in the arm. You can tell that they're friends for a long time. And then she leaves, and then Traylon's like, with me. He says, say nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
All right. Celestra and Rogaris, you guys have been patiently waiting. It's been an hour and a half. And, hey, my Windows and virus threat protection let me know that there was nothing that came in. Sweet.
Congratulations.
Hey,
It
it's a winning day. You know what? Let me just check other things, see what's happening, since it just wants to interrupt me. Nothing's happening. Galaxy Heroes, no new Battlefront team. Okay, we're good. No, I didn't want anything else. Okay.
At least it didn't say your computer's restarting in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah, that's on the laptop. So
those are the best warnings.
Yeah, it wasn't a warning. It was just a check. Hey, just letting you know we checked and there was nothing there. Like, great. Things are popping up in the middle of my stream. All right, so you guys come back to the office. Lord Traylon tells you to sit with those guys for a minute. He gets with his secretary. He whispers some stuff to her, and this look of confusion comes on her face. She says nothing, and he gives her, it looks like a bunch of tasks he wants her to do. Then he looks at you three, and he's like, let's leave immediately. And you guys walk in silence, chit-chat here and there, but he's telling you not to say anything about what just happened. And he walks you all the way back to the house. You go immediately back into his chamber, and you guys sit, and he says, Mike is on his way. We'll have some more pieces of information here in a few minutes. Let's just talk about what just happened. So, Oregon, if you want to tell you from your perspective what happened, you can tell Celestra and Rogaris what just went down.
So, apparently there's a way that you can start missions without going through the council, and that's what one of the houses did, House Castellator. and they got permission from the crown in order to send this group of archaeologists to set up and I use little air quotes, trade route, and to investigate for a potential trading post. And apparently, House Castellanter somehow convinced Lady Edgeth. She's one of the council, by the way. I'm sure you guys remember her. Let's not talk about that. So apparently, they were kind of both involved in sending the initial party. Because it was an official registered party approved by the crown. The people at Arabelle were aware of them and the missing, so it's possible that High Commander Jewel sent us because they knew that the party was missing, but not sure of the original origins. But when it came down to a vote for the inquiry, as expected, House Castellanter and Edgeth voted against the inquiry. There was also another house that voted against the inquiry, House Erlendstar, but they didn't really say much the entire time, so I'm not sure why they voted no. Adelbrand voted to abstain, which is interesting because he didn't seem all that thrilled about the
Traylon's like he always abstains. He hates his position. So
okay,
and he likes just to not be involved unless he absolutely has to. When it comes to like trade stuff, you saw that he was involved with, but any other thing else, he's like.
Well, that explains that then.
Yeah.
And then the other four houses voted for an inquiry, so they are doing an inquiry as to what was going on here.
Just then, hey, Doc from Syndicate Games. I am watching chat, but when we're doing D&D and we're role-playing, it's hard for me to see the chat, so shout out to everybody there. We had a new guy, Plant Ringo, said he's Swedish. Sweet. Mm-hmm. So, Doc from Syndicate Games, that's awesome. Glad to have you here. I haven't even been able to even look at Twitch because I'm doing all this stuff. So
we haven't had any comments on Twitch. We've got some people watching, but no comments.
Yeah, they're watching, but, and I understand because we're doing role playing. So we do look chat, but don't take offense, guys, if we don't say anything because it's kind of hard to read chat while we're doing this. Just then, Micah comes in and he's like, "Father," and he gives you guys a nod. He sits down. He's like, "So I found out that the party was registered with Jewel." So when it didn't report, because some purple dragon knights were sent, that's when he tapped you guys. He was the one that made the request. But I get from my context that they came in, they had been hired, they registered, he knew about it, like he does with everything else. When they did report in, he figured something was wrong, and then he sent a group after them because it's Tilverton.
Is there any particular reason that he tapped us to go after them instead of sending more Purple Dragon Knights?
Well, let's just be honest. Your reputation precedes you guys. It's Tiverton. He wasn't going to send a group. He had already sent a regular group of soldiers and Purple Dragon Knights and Wizards with them, and they didn't come back. So if that's the case, you don't send in the B squad. You send in the A squad.
Granted. I'm just trying to first see if... perhaps any of these houses that do seem to be allied in the goal of trying to reestablish some sort of settlement at Tiverton may have also had a secondary agenda.
Could be, unless I was able to speak to Commander Jewel. I don't know. I could just say what the reports say, because all reports like that get sent to the Ministry of Defense here in Cormyr.
When the request was made by House Castellanter to send a group, what was the reasoning that they gave?
That's what I have. And House Lord Traylon speaks up, says that's what I have my secretary looking for right now. Documentation on this. It will be public. It'll be filed for requests of that nature, and then just then a page comes in with a note, and then he unfurls it. And he says, "And we can find out directly from the crown." So. Guys, freshen up. We've got a meeting with the Queen.
Oh. Does that mean I can change back into my leathers?
Yeah, you can get changed, but it's like, be presentable. But
how much time do we have?
About, I'd give you a few minutes to go freshen up, wash your face, fix yourself up. You can wear your adventuring stuff, but just look nice and presentable. But
Okay.
don't go crazy. We're not. This is not a formal meeting.
Very well.
As far as the three houses that voted to not do the investigation, right? Lady Egeth's house. Do we know? Obviously, we kind of already know what their main trade is, but do they have an official, like, dignified, known trade that they?
They do now.
What would that be?
Just trade goods in general. Nothing
So on the
specific.
outside, at least, it does look as if these three houses that are aligned against the investigation.
Well, of course, the Castellantern and Egeth would vote against it because.
Well, they financed it, but
Well,
then
yeah.
also the third one that allied with them in order to vote against it seems as if they are predominantly also a caravan and shipping business. So at least on the outside, it does look reasonable for those three to want to try to establish any trade routes.
It looks reasonable to me, but there's nothing reasonable about sending a group to Tiverton. But then again, I'm having research done by my assistant. The other thing is, have there been other groups in the past that have done something like this? We know that people have gone there and disappeared, right? But we don't know if there was any official request. There hasn't been a lot in the past years because of all the wars and things of that nature, but there's been times of peace since 100 years ago when this happened, where Tiverton was wiped out. There have been maybe some other things. I don't know.
Have House Castellanter and Edgath traded anything together in the past?
Well, Castellanter is moneylenders. Egeth has a lot of political power, and they have their own trade stuff. So does the other house. So it makes sense that those three have known interest in working together. And he's like, William and Lilianian have been working together for quite a while. And they do have joint ventures in business together and stuff, and have made quite a profit. I mean, honestly, I don't trade with House Egeth because I can trade with the other houses, but you know why. But the other houses trade with them, and from what I gather, they seem to be on the up and up. But there are rumors, there's no proof of black market trading, but nobody cares because trade's going so well and the economy is going so well that nobody cares. You know, when times are good, nobody really wants to take the time to even give a crap.
How vehemently did House Wand support the investigation?
Oh, Gavin is pissed.
That kind of makes sense because establishing new trade routes into Tiverton historically had been known for magic items and producing magical things, which also seems to be right in their wheelhouse.
I don't think he's upset more about that their group was sent without him knowing about it, and that it was to Tiverton. Of all the places you could go, that was the one place that would really upset him, because he knows a little bit about magic and all that stuff, and he would have been against anybody going there. You'd have to convince him good reasoning to go there.
Well,
but he could have other reasons. I don't know. I don't know what his other reasons are. I haven't had a chance to talk to him after the meeting because we came right here.
Well, I'm glad at least we can come back and say we've cleansed the area rather than coming back and saying all hell.
That is very much a good thing. So there was some good that came from this. But then you knuckleheads, he's kind of laughing, just open up that trading post to them. If they filed the rights that I think that they filed, they'll have first dabs on the starting of that trading area.
Is it possible
course,
to
the
find
crown
out
roll,
anything about the archaeologists that were sent in that initial group?
We've already started researching, but I mean that's going to take a while to investigate who was sent. We have to wait for the inquiry that could take days, weeks, for them to gather all the documentation of who was what and where and who was sent and all that other stuff.
Do you yourself have any books on the history of Tiverton? We've already done some research into Tiverton, but
No.
I'm just curious to see if there's any more research.
He's like, you probably have to go to Candlekeep for that. I mean, maybe the library here. Oh, then he's like, well, then I have no, unless you go to the main library here at the palace, but you need special permission to go there.
Yeah, but we have to go see the queen now.
Yes, we do. Have to
we can also ask the queen if we may be allowed access to the library there.
Well, you can ask. So, shall we? Now, this time when you guys go back to the palace, right, after freshening up and making yourselves a little bit presentable, you guys are escorted a back way on the other side of the castle on the back side. And you guys kind of go underground, and then you're kind of led through this back door channel, and then you're taken to you get into the palace proper. You can see all kind of ornamentation and banners and paintings of famous noble scenes of battle on the walls as you're walking toward the queen's chambers. Along the path, as you guys make a right and go through there, on the wall depicted are scenes of battle and great moments of history of Cormier. You don't know what those battles represent, but they're cool. They're cool motifs that lead to the main chamber of the king and queen. There's the main chamber doors, and then there's a path to the right and left. You guys are taken to the right, and you can see there's guards everywhere. Purple dragon knights in full attire, like gleaming silver and full regalia and stuff, and they are on it. I mean, they don't move, but they watch you like hawks as you go in. There are a little bit of these because it looks like Lord Traylon, they know who he is, but they're still like Secret Service. They're just watching you the entire time. But you can tell Lord Traylon has some pull here a little bit, because there's no page or anybody being escorting you guys through here. This looks like this is a back channel way to get to the queen. It's not through official channels. So typically, through, if you're going to see nobility, someone of this stature, you would have to be recognized. You would have to be presented. There's a whole thing about it. You would see him in official capacity. So this is unofficial capacity. And you get to these doors, there's two guards there, both women, just in full purple Dragon Knight outfits with, looks like two swords on their sides, and each holding a spear. Lord Traylon nods to them, they nod to him, and the one says, wait here. She goes in. The other one stands at full attention. She doesn't move. She's looking at you guys, but she's not... No emotion, nothing. She's just staring at you guys. Again, Secret Service mode. She's looking at you guys. You can tell from just her look, she has weighed and drawn and measured you guys in a matter of seconds. Like, if you guys were just to try to do something stupid, she's already figured out just by the way she's looking at you. All right, he's going to do that. I'll do this. They'll do that. I mean, that's the way. It looks like she's just studying you guys. So these are elite guards here. The guard comes out, so the queen is presentable, you may go in. And then you go through this back door, you open up, and it's a huge giant living room. There's a door there, there's a desk in the far corner that's up a couple stairs to the next level, and you can see there's doors. You probably think that's her bedroom there, but there's a huge plush living room, giant fireplace with a dragon, a purple dragon skull or a head mounted on the front of this fireplace. There's a small fire going there. You know, castles can be cold even in summer because of the way the stone works and stuff, especially marble, things of that nature. So there is a little bit of a fire there, more for comfort and looks than and convenience than anything. And sitting in a very ornate purple and red chair is a woman, late 20s. She has long red hair that's been untied and is just hanging there. She has yellow eyes. And she's wearing not a dress, but comfortable pants and a comfortable silk shirt. There is a sword that she's holding in her hand, and she's sitting with her leg crossed over the other. She has a little crown symbol on her head, and she's just sitting there. And Traylon comes in. He escorts you guys in. He bows deeply to her. What do you guys do?
I follow suit.
Rogaris will bow as well.
All right, you all bow, and then you see Traylon and her staring at one another, and then all of a sudden they start cracking up laughing. And she's like, "Oh my God, you do that every time." And he's like, "I can't help it. I don't know you since you were a little girl." And she comes up and gives him a big hug, and she goes, and she looks at you guys. So this is the famous Ebon Shade. And then she's like, "Well, let me meet you finally. I've heard great things about you." And then she comes up. She's still holding that sword in her hand, and you can look at the sword. It's a pretty badass sword. She goes up to you, Oregon, and she's like, "Who might you be?"
I bow again. Say, I'm Lord Commander Oregon.
It's like,
Oregon River Wash from Arabelle.
You're Oregon, and I'm Redra, and in these chambers, in my private chambers, I'm not the queen. You're not a Lord Commander. We're just people.
You sure about that?
Do you want to be formal?
I'd prefer not to, but people say I get too friendly.
She I can't stand that crap. You know, when we're outside, you better do it, but in here, it's cool. She's kind of giving you like, I really am not into the formal stuff, and you see.
So I immediately give her a hug.
Don't. Oh no! The Traylon and me is like.
Please tell me she punts him across the room.
Make a athletics check, Oregon.
14.
She grabs your arm and kind of twists, like, "I don't know you that well yet, little man," and starts pulling you away, and you're like,
That's fair.
"Oregon, Redra, but I don't know you that well yet."
I look over and say, "You know he likes when you do that."
Indeed. And who might you be?
I'm Celestra.
Glad to meet your acquaintance, Celestra. And who is this tank of a person dwarf over here?
My name is Rogaris. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'll put my hand out to shake hers.
And she shakes. She says, "What clan do you hail from?"
I'm from Mithril Hall.
King Brunhauer.
Yes.
I know him well.
Clan Battlehammer.
The Battlehammers are well known throughout the realms. So, shall we sit? And none of you guys see this, but a person comes out of the shadows and whispers in her ear, it's like, "Refreshments will be fine." And then this person looks at you and then disappears. And she's like, "I've got water, whatever you guys want, it's coming." And so she sits down, she puts the sword across her lap, and she's like, "Okay. Your message sounded cryptic, Lord Traylon. Why did you need to come see me on short notice? Luckily, I don't have a lot going on today." And then Lord Traylon asked her about this mission. It's like, "Yeah, I remember that. Lady Gath and Castellenter asked me to, if I would approve an expedition to Tiverton. I said the Crown was not paying for that. I had no interest in sending people there. They said they wanted to privately invest in it." I'm not against. Listen, you know me. The houses can do whatever they want, but they needed permission. It's their call. I didn't have any problem with it, so I approved it. But I've been informed, when she looks at you guys, that things didn't turn out so well.
I look at Lord Traylon to see if he's looking for us to say anything.
He's giving you the look like you're being spoken to. You need to speak.
If I may be frank about my fears.
Yes, please do. I don't like bullshit. I can't stand it. I hate bureaucracy. I hate politics. Just give it to me straight.
Very well. There is a likelihood, and I believe this is what happened, that the group that was sent before us was sent to the slaughter to Tiverton as 4 corpses or 4 people were used as victims in order to have their blood summon a Baylord.
Do you have any proof of this?
We have the corpses of the victims, and we're looking to identify them. If they match those of the party, then we will have the proof.
So I know that the party was sent to investigate if Tiverton was viable for trading that they were interested in. Is there anything nefarious more than I need to know about this other than it turned out bad and a Balor was summoned and you guys... In fact, you guys did do a great deed for the realm. She starts tapping her lip. I need to reward you for that. Now that I know about it, it would eventually come to me, but... And she looks over, she's like, make a note. Valor medals for these guys. And she turns back. Sorry about that. I think out loud, so, she's like, I'll just say things, It's my nature. I'm a soldier. More than I am a queen, but I am a queen that's a soldier. You see my dilemma?
Can Rogaris start to just sort of scan the room, looking to see if she's added anything to the decor that wouldn't necessarily be seen as something that a queen would have, but more like a soldier?
Make a perception check.
24.
You do get a sense that you see in one part of the room there is a set of armor that is nice. It's very well ornate, but it's seen battle. And it looks like that's her set of armor. You can see there's near there's like a little section on military tactics, strategy. There's a lot of books like that near her desk. So you do notice some things like that. And from what Traylon said, she has fought in battles. The Open Skies are known for being very militaristic and raised as soldiers, knights, things of that nature. Depending on their skills, some have become really famous wizards. There's been in their history wizard kings and wizard queens. It's just whatever talent kind of comes in from their line. Either some become great diplomats that are not kings and queens, but they're like ministers, leaders of the armies, wizards, war wizards. The Open Skies are the leading ruling family, and whoever's not the king and queen have some major part of somewhere based off their abilities. And you can tell from her, it's based off. She's a fighter. She's a knight. She's probably been through military training. You can tell from just her appearance and the way she holds her sword that she's very much more the soldier than she is the queen. So that's what you kind of get a sense from that perception, which was 24. I mean, you can tell a lot.
Okay. I'll just sort of stand my back to the fireplace, kind of leaning against the fireplace just for a little bit of extra warmth as I just continue to scan the room.
Okay. She's like, I mean, there's been an inquiry. I was informed today by the council. Is that correct? So Traylon nods his head. It's like, so I approved it. What else do you want to ask me? I mean, I don't know what more to tell you.
I look at Traylon again.
He's looking at you like, this is your show, buddy. I just set up the meeting.
When they asked you originally for permission, did they have any specific things they were hoping to accomplish with that being a trading outpost? Were there specific forms of trade or locations of trade that they would hope to funnel through it?
They're both. I mean, the Cast Lanterns are financiers, and the Egeth are. I mean, Lady Egeth is well known for their trading in goods. I mean, that's all I know. I mean,
I'm gonna look at Traylon the entire time that I'm gonna say this next thing to gauge his reaction. I believe there is something bigger at play as it relates to everything that was going on in Tilverton.
Traylon looks at Redra and says, Your Majesty, I agree. These are troubling signs. There's so many questions left unanswered. On the surface, it looks like normalcy, but on the bottom, there's more to it than meets the eye. And she goes, Well, I've always trusted you, Lord Traylon. Very well. I task all of you to come up to the bottom of this. To find out what you can. You have the full permission of the crown. She's like, give him the documentation. You don't know who she's talking to, but you just know that something's happening to where someone's doing something immediately. And she's like, you will report to me and me only. Who else on the council do you think we can trust with this? Traylon's
No one.
like...
I say no one.
Well, he's like, well, I would say Gavin, but that's your call. I wouldn't trust any of the others. We just don't.
Gavin is with the wands?
Yeah. Like, Gavin is one person I would trust with my life. Very well. Then you must arrange a meeting with Lord Gavin in private outside of this room and set up your own thing. With that, normal crown business and things will go on. The inquiry that has been established by the ruling council will do its own thing. I don't care about that. Documentation will be sent to your house, Lord Traylon. You guys will have official capacity. You may do whatever research you want. Anything you need. If you run into any roadblocks, you have the Queen's authority to find out what you need. And if there's something there, let me know. We'll handle it. If there's nothing there, then keep your eyes and ears open.
My queen, this also extends to the Royal Library?
Yes, if you so desire, it gives you full access to anything you need. Make a note, add the library.
Rogaris looking for libraries is still the freakiest thing of this whole campaign. Oh god. He's wearing the glasses.
I gotta go find the helmet in a minute.
Oh my god.
You don't see me wearing tits. I mean,
no. Dirty, nasty jungle love? No. With that, is there anything else I may ascertain? With not, we have a ceremony to plan. That's going to take some time. So you will be summoned to the palace officially. I must reward you for your valor. I meant to do that a while ago, but I've been a little busy with the war in the east. But that's going well. So I'm hoping to bring the Crown Prince back sooner than later. And maybe we can have some peace in this realm for a while. Who knows? There's always trouble somewhere. But see what you can find out. And Traylon, you probably need to send someone in for... I'll send a message to Lord Gavin to come to your estate and have a meeting with you. He's like, as you wish, my lady. She's like, stop doing that. she really just seems like she hates titles and stuff like that. Very well. There's nothing else. Anything you guys wish to ask before we go? All right.
No, I think that's it.
With that, I have a dinner to get ready for, and palace dinners are so obnoxiously boring, but I must do my role. So if you guys have nothing further, you may leave where you came in and report to me what you can. She stands up. You see Lord Traylon stand up. He does bow. If you guys want to do the same thing.
I kind of put my hands out in front of me like I'm going to see if she's willing to give me a hug.
She unsheaths the sword a little bit.
Not yet? Okay. And then I bow.
Rogaris will walk over and shake her hand again.
She'll shake your hand. Celestia, anything you want to do?
I'll do a slight curtsy with a smile.
She gives you a smirk and a wink and a head and tilt, bow thing back.
Something just not too formal, but
Acknowledgement. That's fine. All right, you guys are leaving. You guys get back. We'll just say you guys get back to House Traylon. It's dinner time. When you get there, dinner's being served. You guys sit down for dinner. Of course, you're going to eat there. You're staying at House Traylon. You guys already have rooms prepared. You guys have always had an open. You guys know this from the past dealings. House Traylon. You guys, whenever you want, you can just show up and stay there. So there's always rooms ready for you guys in case you ever show up. But you guys are having dinner. While you're having dinner, normal conversation happens. Nothing, there. The whole family's there. Mike is there. And then a messenger comes in, whispers something to Lord Traylon's ear. He's like, "Oh, good. Lord Gavin's here. Excuse me, wife, children. Micah's, if you would come with me. Ladies, gentlemen, please this way." And you guys go back into his main office. And then as you guys come in, you see Lord Gavin sitting there with his staff, just waiting.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was going to say, before we go in, on the way there, I asked Lord Traylon something.
Sure.
Do I tell him about everything?
I would trust Gavin, yes.
Okay, including who?
I would tell him, yes. He may know about her. He's very old and very wise and seems to know crap I never know about. And then he tells me, I'm like, I didn't know that.
Okay.
All right, so you walk in, he's sitting there patiently just drinking tea, and he's like, "All right, what is this nonsense about? The queen said I had to be here, so here I am." Just banging that stuff down. He's like, "Lord Gavin, or Lord Wand, I apologize, but this is crown business." And he makes sure the door's closed and everything's sealed. He's like, "It's quite serious." All right. What's going on? And Traylon lays out everything. He tells them about everything except for your part, Orgron. Then he looks at you. "We believe there's something more nefarious going on." And he points to you, Oregon. "What's more serious than this?"
Sir, do you know about Lady Ebb?
This silence. What?
Any change in expression or anything?
A look of like, "What do you know of her?"
I've seen her.
And you see the drink fall out of his hands. And he's just staring at you. And then he shakes his head for a second like, "I beg your pardon. What did you say? Did you say you met her?"
Yes, sir.
"Are you sure?"
Yes. And I kind of
He kind of slumps back in his chair like, "No. I know bits and pieces of lore, but if she's involved with this, what possible spring of chaos and destruction? What does she want with?"
She She wants to destroy the world, and apparently
I know that part, young man. But why? It doesn't matter. She's bad juju. Bad form.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have anyone looking into this aspect of this relationship between the demon lord and her?
We are.
Who among you is looking among this? You're here right now.
We have one trusted person that is looking into it.
And who would that be?
I look at Traylon, see if he's
nod.
Amaroon.
Oh, Lady Amaroon. Oh. If that's the case, that was quite good. You see, got to perk up a little bit. Like, you kind of get a sense that older gentlemen just love hearing and seeing Lady Amaroon every time she's mentioned. Lovely lady, I love her very much. Oh, she's quite fabulous. Quite the magic user, too.
That she is.
But being the great, whatever she is, of Elemenster says a lot, and she's living up to that expectation. I will endeavor to help her with that. And if you need me and the House of Wands, we will be there to support you in anything you wish to do. Fair enough?
I just bow. I don't say anything, I bow. Yeah.
Oh. All right. I'm old and I'm tired. I'm going home. If there's anything you need from me, you know the proper channels and the improper channels to send information to. And Lord Traylon stands up. They bow. I'm sure you guys all stand up, bow. He goes out. And he's like, well, there's not much we can do tonight. We'll start first thing in the morning. Sure. I think the plan of attack is I will handle the political stuff. You guys, why don't you throw your weight around a little bit? Go where you think you need to go, see what information you can pull. In fact, tomorrow, scoop up my secretary. I'll send her a message that you guys will be meeting with her first thing in the morning. She can kind of take you wherever you need to go. And whatever you want, she can get you there faster, and you guys can start doing research and asking people questions, things of that nature.
Where would be the best place to go to see where different missions were being sent to Tiverton?
The Lord of Commerce and Trade, Lord Castellenter is a minister there, but the head person would be the person you would probably want to speak to. Just speak to the office. They can pull that information for you. And she can direct you there and stuff like that. So, I think we've had it's been a long day. Let us rest, relax, get some information, and then we can start fresh in the morning.
Okay.
All right, so you guys go off. Anything you guys want to do tonight? Or it's still early evening, so if there's anything you want to do or go or speak to or anything like that, if you guys want to talk amongst each other or anything of that nature, then now is the time.
No, nothing else right now.
I'll just be working with Blinky, trying to teach Blinky tricks.
All right, make an animal handling check. You're 20. Getting Blinky very much in control. I mean, when you first start, he's like, comes out of there. Because usually when he's in the bag, you've got lots of stuff for him in there. And he's pretty content just being in there. He's very happy. You let him out to go poo-poo and tinkle and all that stuff. But, you do a really good job working with him for about an hour of training him to where he's really taking your commands well. He's picking it up. I mean, at first, he's really fighting you. But you seem to grasp and you stick with it, and you're able to really get him in line. So he's really listening to your commands a little bit better. He's still a puppy, and you can see he's starting to grow already a little bit, but he's very more responsive to your word commands than he was before. Simple commands like sit, stay, those are the things you're working with him right now.
It'll be a while before I start teaching him more complex commands.
Yeah, so just simple stuff, but you do it very well, and he picks up on it, and yeah, you do a good job training Blinky. All right. Oregon, Celeste, anything you guys want to do?
Mm-mm. Nothing
I
for
think
me.
I'm okay.
Okay. Next morning, you guys wake up uneventful. You get a really good night's sleep. You don't have to worry about anything. Very comfortable rooms, very comfortable beds. You guys go down, have a quick breakfast. Trail household doesn't have really big breakfasts because they get up really early in the morning and they're off and running because they got business to take care of, right? So, I mean, if you guys want anything, it's some simple bread with some jams, cheese, very simple water or tea. There's not a lot out there. They just don't have time for formal breakfast. Breakfast is not a big meal in the trailing house. It's like, grab some stuff, eat it on your way to work.
That's fine with me.
Grab
Okay.
some various fruits and little things and
Yeah.
snack a bit and grab some for the road.
Okay. So you guys get on your way. With Lord Traylon, you guys get there early in the morning, like 7 a.m. in the morning. And then he introduced you to his secretary. Her name is Madeline. And she is his official secretary of House Traylon. So it's like wherever you need to go, she will be your guide. And she's like, thank you, my lord. Just look at you guys because she remembers the crap you put her through yesterday, and she's seems really not thrilled about this assignment, but she does follow rules and she is paid well, so she will do that. She's like, and then he's got meetings, so he takes off. So she's just standing there. She's like, well, where do you want to go first?
Rogaris will give her back her book on law, having finished it last night.
Thank you. She just puts it without looking away from you on her desk. Where do you guys want to start? I'm stuck with
I'm going to try something first. I'm going to be like, oh, well, yesterday I saw you, but I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. My name is Oregon, and I put out my hand.
I know you are Lord Oregon, and very nice to meet you.
Does she shake my hand?
Yeah, she shook your hand.
Okay, so when she brings her hand to shake it in, I kind of turn it around and then I kiss her hand. I'm going to see if I can get her to lighten up a little bit.
Make a charisma check.
17?
Yeah, she seems to lighten up to you.
Okay.
I do
We
like
could-
a gentleman. And she looks at you, Rogaris, with a dirty look.
Well, we could really use your help today, so I really appreciate it.
All right, Smoothie, I get it. So, where do you guys want to go first?
First, I think we need to go to the Commerce Department to figure out all the different groups that were sent to Tiverton recently.
I have been researching that, and she goes behind her desk, and he's like, take a seat, guys. So she goes, so I did some research last night, because Lord Traylon asked me to do this. I don't have anything about the recent mission, because I didn't get a chance to do that, but I just looked in the last 100 years how many official groups had been sent. The only thing I could find was one 50 years ago, after, I don't know if you know the lady of the Dale.
I'm assuming I don't.
The sister, Elemenster connection. You know who she's talking about? She's talking about your mentor.
Oh, Storm? Okay.
Yeah, she's like, yes, Miss Silverhand. She's not known that here. She's known as, she's like, the name forgets me, but she's got a title, an official title from the crown. After she'd gone through, there was some look into Tiverton by the Queen's grandfather, but the group never actually got close enough to actually go in. Now, the reports I did find is that caravans lost at night that have been on their way to Arabelle from the north in different directions have mistakenly vanished. But no official party other than that one was to ascertain the status of Tilverton, not for trade or anything, but just to see what was the status of it, because there there still was a lot of problems with people getting lost at night and disappearing. There's no official proof that it was based off Tilverton, but there had been reports that a group from the north had gone from that north. Maybe they ran into there, but they were never heard of again. So 50 years ago, the Crown made it an off-limits site. As kind of a warning, they spread the message throughout the other surrounding kingdoms, dales, things of that nature, to stay away. But go at your own peril. If you want to go near that place, you are at your own peril. So there's always been rumors of groups of adventurers going in there to see if there's any treasure or gold or jewels there, because there was quite a lot of wealth in that city that just seemed to disappear. I mean, the Council of Fathers that ran that place were extremely wealthy merchants. So it has caught the eye of many an adventuring group, but they were never really officially, other than registered. Nobody knows their status. We don't follow that stuff. But
were there any well-known historical treasures of that city that were never seen again?
For the city, yes. I mean, there were private collectors. I'm sure there were magical items, things of that nature that were there. It was a very wealthy city, so it wouldn't surprise me if there were some, I would say, historical but renowned, or, well, there were private stashes, I'm sure, that these people owned. Because of just how wealthy they were. I mean, it was a city of about 25,000 people. Just wiped off the face of the map.
I kind of look at everyone, and I look at Celestra. Do you think it's worth it to go there first and see if there's anything we missed before anyone comes and starts changing that area into a trading post or something?
She's like, well, I mean, if you guys eventually want to go back there and check, you can. I can't help you with that, but...
You can come with us.
I am not going to that. I am not an adventurer. I like books and city life. Thank you very much.
So do I. I like books a lot.
I find that hard to believe.
Really? I just read that whole book that you had there last night.
Tell me about it.
I read the previous 4 versions.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's dealing predominantly with surrogate's law. And
That's
surrogate's
not what
law,
was in that book, and
Well, it's a combination of surrogate's
well, because of your
law, it's
intelligence,
also law
make a
of-
deception check, Rogeris, because your intelligence check said you really hated that book. You didn't even read the damn thing. You didn't even try. You found it boring.
17.
No, deception, not intelligence.
Oh. 12.
She's just looking at you like, really? So anyway, to the commerce department.
I kind of look at Celestra and see what she thinks about heading back over there first before we investigate anything that won't change here.
I mean, we scoured it pretty good, but if you are feeling hesitant, it's something we can do. It's just going to take an extra day out of our time.
Do you think there's anything that may have changed since it's purified? Stuff that we might see now that we didn't see then?
Make a religious check, Celestra.
16.
Yeah, you think that it's starting to clear up, but you don't know what you'll find that now that more of the city's open. You guys did see that it's pretty level flat, so you'd have to do some serious investigating to see if there's anything under the layer of once was cities and structures and stuff to see if you can find anything. So you don't know. It could take you years to excavate something like that if you don't really know what you're doing. But you do know it's safe for the moment.
Yeah.
Because we know that my only concern is that anything that's there is going to be lost, because we know that now that they're aware that the area has been purified, Lady Edgith and House House Castellanter are going to definitely go over there and try to change things.
Well, Madeline speaks up. She's like, well, that's not quite how that works. So they have the rights for trade there. They can set up trade there, but the crown controls the land. So anything that they want to do officially besides trade has to be set up through the crown. The queen has to approve it. Military outposts must be assigned to any caravan stop that is approved for this. So all they have is rights to the trading, not to the town.
Okay.
So the town wants to come to existence. That's a whole different ball of wax. It has to be assigned a lord. It has to be set up with magistrates. It has to be sent out with tax collectors. All that stuff.
Okay.
So they have the rights to trade. Yes, they can set up their trade shops there, but it has to be in conjunction with the crown setting up shop there as well. But they get dibs first on setting up the best spots for trade, that kind of thing. So that's what they've bought.
How would one apply to become the lord of a new town?
It's not. You don't apply. It's just assigned by the queen.
Maybe we request to be made the lords of that town.
You can send a request in, but you have to do it through an official channel. I mean, I don't know if Lord Traylon would support you're not at your lords, and you're not nobles. You're just lords. You're not official nobility yet. I think from what I found out yesterday from Lord Traylon is that you guys are to be rewarded nobility in a sense to become nobles for your actions, as honorary protectors of the realm or something like that. Because you guys are soldiers and knights and part of the military, but that still has to be approved by the queen. Names are recommended from the council, and then she looks at the list of nobles. That's where all the minor nobles that own all the lands, you guys, I'm sure, if you've been around Cormier, there's nobles that own different swaths of cities, smaller towns, but they still they are in charge of the land, defending the land, ruling over the land for commerce, things of that nature. So, the names are brought up, and the queen decides who she will grant titles to. You guys can put your name in the hat, but it still comes down to the queen.
I don't think that's wise.
Why not?
That's almost like declaring war with Lady Edgith.
I don't see how it would be declaring war.
Do you want to do trade with her?
Why not? It lets us go and keep an eye on her. Sometimes it's better to keep your enemies close.
I don't want to do trade with her. I want nothing to do with her. We've dealt with her before. No good comes of it. And we know that they have rights to trading there. So I want nothing to do with that.
If we're installed as the lords of that town, we possibly could also go and make it such restrictive trade laws on her.
And then you're declaring war on her.
No, we're simply encouraging her to sell to somebody else those trade rights.
The trade rights go through the crown. The lord can control. His responsibility is controlling trade to make sure it goes through. He can set up his own shop there and has primary function over the land, but other houses can set up shop there as well. Or make whatever dealings they want. But, I mean, they don't need the crown permission for that.
Well, it would also mean that we would control the police force that would be monitoring that trade?
No, the magistrate would. But who reports to the lord, of course. But the magistrate is also there assigned by the crown.
And the lord of a town has input onto who that magistrate would be or not?
No, that's assigned by the crown. Now, the lord can nominate someone that they know to become the magistrate, and as long as everything checks out. So, gotta love government.
I will leave it to you, Rogeris, if you wish to be. I do not wish to be a noble for Tiverton. But we can discuss that at another time.
Yes.
Let's go to commerce.
Let's go to the commerce section. So she takes you to the other side. Bunch of buildings there. One is the library, beautifully ordained building. You don't go there. You go to one of the smaller buildings. and it says on the front of it, commerce, trade, on it and stuff like that. You go into the building.
Before we go in,
Yeah.
I tell her, we want to speak with whoever we can that is not part of House Castellanter. I know there's influence here, but we don't want to talk to anyone from that house.
Well, the ministers control different things. So do you want to speak to the head minister?
If that's the correct person that can help us, that is not associated with House Castellanter, yes.
I know her. I can get a meeting with her.
Okay.
All right. So you guys go in. There's a long, you've been to one of those government buildings before, long marble place that separates people coming in. You have to wait in line. You don't have to wait in line because you guys know that you have the Queen's seal. Documents were provided for you, so you guys just got right to the line. People are kind of grumbling as you do, but you go ahead and she takes you to one of the there's different levels of it. So there's like more peasant stuff at the end, and there's more higher end stuff at the other end. And she goes to the very far end where there's more higher end stuff. She talks to the secretary, the person behind the desk, says, "We are here on official Crown business." And she says, "Documentation, please." And she looks at you.
I take out one of the... I assume we each have one, but I'll take out mine.
You just have one that just says, you have a piece of paper that Lord Traylon gave you last night that says, and by order of the Queen, her signature, the Oberonskyer seal is on it, her ring, marking that this is official. And the lady looks at it, like, "Oh, of course. How can we help you today?" It's like, "I need to speak to Jelaya." "Well, she's kind of busy." "Now, please." And she's like, of course." And she goes running off, and then she comes back. She's like, "She'll see you immediately." So you guys are escorted back into one of the back offices, and it's the head office. You walk in, and inside there, behind this desk, it looks wrong. It's a giant desk, and behind it in a giant chair is a gnome, a very old gnome with long gray white hair with spectacles and stuff, and she's writing, and she's like, yes, come in." And you see Madeline come in, and she's like, "Lady Jelaya, these are representatives of the Queen, and they need your time." "Oh, it's always something from the Crown." She just keeps writing, and then she puts her pen, her feather down, and she's like, "All right. What can I do for you today for the Crown? What do you need?"
I talk in Gnomish intentionally. And say,
"I hate that language. Speak in basic, please."
Okay. And we're looking for any routes that were, or any groups that were sent on any route to Tiverton.
Tiverton?
Yes,
I did hear something about that. One moment, please. She does something. She touches something on her desk, and it's really weird. The attendant comes immediately. Like, you didn't hear anything, you didn't know anything, they just came in. Yes, Madam Julia." She's like, I need this," and she writes it down, and then, "Find this information and bring it here immediately." And she's gone. And then she comes back, and then she's 10 minutes later, she comes in and has all the documentation in front of her. She's like, "Well, it seems that you're not the only ones that want this information. Seems like there's been another inquiry about this that we were putting together." She looked at you. "Interesting. What do you want to know?"
What parties were sent there in the last 150 years?
You didn't ask for that. You asked for the recent one, didn't you?
I wanted all of them.
She just looks at you like, "Well, that'll take a little more time."
That's fine. We will start with the most recent, but we would like the information for all of them.
That's going to take weeks.
Okay.
Let's just start here, shall we?
Yes.
And then she opens it up. All right. Says here that officially approved by the Crown under.
And not classic. It's like the new cartoon version,
All right.
which I can only compare to Ren and Stimpy.
I think we're good. I think we're good. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here a little bit. I'm going to give you the information, and then we'll wrap it up here. Because... Me! Jesus.
I don't want all that responsibility.
So, I'm back. I'm waiting to see if it's going to drop again, because I don't even want to start saying the conversation until I get... See if it's a decent connection.
I would rather us be known as like the greatest adventuring group ever and not have to be associated with any of the bureaucracy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I apologize, guys. When the internet works, it works beautifully. There's nothing we can't do. But when it's gone, it's gone. It's like feast or famine. It's like we have it all or we have nothing. Nothing! Oh, Christ. Comcast, kiss my ass. All right, real quick. So you're with her. It's like she's looking at the documentation. She's told you that the financial party requests military assistance. Gives the name of all the respected party members. 3 archaeologists, 2 mages, and looks like a government official, and 6 Dragon Knights were assigned to the group to go to Tiverton. Small group. Expeditionary force looks like.
Do you have the names of those individuals?
Yes, she gives you. I'll give it to you next week. Remind me, Finn. Gives you a list of the names of and titles and academic titles and things of that nature of each of the people sent.
Okay.
Of the 3 archaeologists, do we know what their specialties were?
One, they look like they're mainly magical history. One was on demonic magic and necromancy. It looks like the archaeologists were all wizards as well from the War Wizards. But they were not associated with the War Wizards. There was only one assigned person from the War Wizards. These 3 were more from the college, lesser noble houses, it looks like, that were assigned. They were more bookworms than they were field people. But archaeologists are people that spend a lot of time in the library and then they know how to do stuff in the wild.
Who put together this group? Was it all House Castellanter?
It looks like it was a joint venture between the Castellanterns and the Aegis. To be paid for. Even they had to pay for the Dragon Knights too.
Okay.
Who was the leader of the expedition?
Looks like she's looking at it, and I had it here, and then since everything went whack-a-doodle, give me a second. Consul Riven, Rivven.
That was that government official that you had said earlier?
Yeah, he was a Purple Dragon Knight as well.
Oh, so the official was also Purple Dragon Knight?
Yeah. The official title was Consul. It's a military rank, but it also has bureaucratic responsibility as well. So he was kind of leading the expedition, but also had he had background in both. It seemed like the best choice. He was academic and he was military, so they chose him. He's a middle rank.
Do we know what his academic background was in?
Just general history of the realm. Doesn't really say anything else what his credentials were besides that.
Do you know if any requests were made to go to Tiverton that were actually denied?
Oh no, no one's ever requested. This is the first time in many that I can remember. Everything anybody doing that.
Well, I know that I've made some requests here, so if you could please add that. I would like to know all of the other requests made to travel to Tiverton that
Of
were.
course, for the crown, anything.
Thank you.
Anything else?
And
You see that the dates on this, Oregon?
Mhm.
Roll an intelligence check.
that was going to be kind of my next thing too. So perfect. Ooh. Can I use luck?
Yeah.
20.
Something catches your eye, and you're looking at the dates. It doesn't register the first time, but somehow you manage to piece it together that the day that this expedition was requested was the day you guys all came back from your jaunts.
That's where the initial request was made.
Mm-hmm. Same day you guys all arrived back years later. This was requested.
Are there any current land holdings on Tiverton? Like, does anybody officially own the land or
Nope.
still claims on any of it?
Nope. It's off limits still. Well, it won't be now, but it was off limits.
Who put in the request for here? I know it was a joint venture, but who actually put in the request for this mission?
It looks like it's one of the Callus stars, but it's not a name you're familiar with. It's not the official lord.
Okay.
It looks like a lady from there, officially, but with the Callister name, but you don't recognize it.
Okay. The other thing I would like to request then is any other missions that the Council Riven has done for either House Castelletter or House Eadgith in the last 5 years.
Yes, yes. We'll put in the request as you want. It'll be in immediately. It'll take time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I kind of look around and see if there's anything else anyone wants. Celestra and Rogaris.
Is there statistical data on the amount of travel trade-wise that goes on within a 15-mile swath around Tiverton as far as traveling on roads?
Well, she answers that immediately, though. No, she says that it's a route, but that area is avoided, so it takes a little bit more time because people avoid that area. But there's trade from both the Dales and from other kingdoms that go through there for the mountains. And you look at the map, she kind of shows you the routes. So you can see that the roads have been redone since that time to avoid the area. But, I mean, a lot of the trade paths that you know, and my internet's going. All right, I think we're back. So we're going to stop here, guys. So remind me to get that list. So we're going to stop it here. The internet's going in and out. I think I'm about to have another outage again from Comcast because they suck. Awful. So we'll pick it up next week. I apologize for this, man. People that are watching, there's nothing I can do. This is just straight. Either the connection's there or the connection's not. You know, it's not like, I mean, it's some connection, so it makes we can still do stuff, but it's either it's all in or not in, and it's getting ridiculous. So we're going to stop it there. We'll say that they get the information they need from the minister, and then we'll pick it up next week, next Sunday, and then we'll see what the party wants to do with the information that they gathered. So make sure you give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitch. subscribe, all that good stuff. So, on behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, thank you guys for stopping by. I'm sitting here trying to see if there's an outage in my area, waiting for the status to come up because that's usually when they're doing work. They've been doing crazy work around here with Comcast. I don't know if they're upgrading or what they're doing, but it's like the signal disappears. Me. So, all right. This happened last Sunday too, so I hope they knock this crap off. It's really pissing me off. So, thank you guys for stopping in. Have a great rest of your time, and we'll see you next Sunday. Peace.